Hey everyone, my name is Lindsay Cottingham, and I am so excited that you have joined me for a presentation today. I am the media specialist at Social Circle Elementary School, and I decided to share with you my new tech tool journey, and it is on one of my most favorite resources that I use, and that is Book Creator. So I chose Book Creator today to share with you because I saw a critical need to enhance student engagement in narrative writing and just provide some accessible options for expression for my students. I wanted them to be able to have a method where they could show their creativity and where they could just collaborate with others. Traditional essays just were not capturing their full potential, and quite honestly, it just was not something that they enjoyed, and I wanted to make them excited about writing and about storytelling. So, as we go through this presentation today, I will be taking you through my process of discovering, mastering, and implementing and evaluating the Book Creator tool. And so, I hope that you will learn something today. So, it is said by Book Creator that empowering students through digital storytelling is one of their big focuses. And I think you'll see that they do just that. So I first found out about Book Creator when I attended the Georgia EdTech Conference in Atlanta in November of 2025. And what really drew me to Book Creator was its simple interface and just seeing the excitement of fellow media specialists and technology teachers that presented on Book Creator and how engaged their students were, and just the student product that they were sharing. So I decided to sign up for a free educator account. So I went to Book Creator that afternoon after the presentation. I quickly created my first library to test it out, and I instantly fell in love. I realized just then that this tool could really specifically address a lot of those things that I was trying to do in my classroom, that it was an easy to use platform that I felt like my students as young as kindergarten and all the way up through sixth grade, which is what I serve, could truly benefit from. I loved how it can combine so many different things into one storybook with the use of text, audio, and video, just putting all of that in one single project. I just saw a lot of our students truly benefiting and enjoying that. And I believed that it could really enhance learning by fostering that true multimedia literacy and UDL compliance, making expression possible for all of our students, no matter what their ability level was. I felt like this was going to be a game changer. I do work at a school where our students, we are a one-to-one school, so our students do have iPads and or Chromebook devices. So that focus on accessibility was very easy for us. But I do feel like most schools can still implement the use of Book Creator because most schools do have access to some form of a tablet or a computer or Chromebook device, and Book Creator is accessible through any of those platforms. Because of its multi-device accessibility, I do feel like it allows students to engage with it anywhere, anytime. And it does empower teamwork through technology by fostering a collaborative learning environment. The exploration and learning process with Book Creator has definitely been a journey. At first, I was just kind of doing a little bit of trial and error after I had attended the conference. I kind of went in and played around with it on my own, tried to make my own book and find use of the different tools and features that were embedded in Book Creator. Then I definitely engaged in a lot of the tutorials. Their website is full of lots of great tips, tricks, videos. YouTube is also a very helpful place for a lot of those online tutorials and guidance. And then I talked to other media specialists at that Georgia EdTech conference and at other collaborative media specialist meetings that I attended to see how their schools were using Book Creator and tips and tricks they had, things that they liked and disliked. And now I just continue to try to attend workshops, read blogs, things like that for that continuous development. As I have used it in my classrooms, in my media center, and as I have coached teachers in my school system to use it, we get constant student feedback. We're gathering insights from students on the usability, what they like, what they don't like, what they want to learn more about. And then we try to do that reflective practice of seeing, okay, what are things that they're struggling with? What do we need to focus more on teaching? What do we need to make sure that when we're modeling how to do it, we need to spend a little more focus time on? And then things that we might just want to skip. So it's definitely been an exploration and learning process, but so far it has been wonderful. The book creator has many, many strengths. There are a few challenges, but I would certainly say that the strengths outweigh the challenges. And I know that we've already touched on several of those things, so I don't want to waste too much of your time. But I would say the main takeaways for book creator is it encourages teamwork and creativity among students. There is a way where students can work on joint books together. They can do a collaborative book, or students can do storybooks on their own, but then they can share it with their peers. And so that allows for a little bit of, peer feedback, revisions, editing, all of those types of things. Being proud, sharing their stories. So that enables those shared projects, which helps with communication skills. Like I said, we've already talked about that peer feedback and the sense of community, but it simplifies the creation of the interactive content, making learning more engaging. And my favorite thing is how it facilitates differentiated learning, and it caters to a diverse student needs. So we have some English language learners at our school, and there's so many amazing features embedded within Book Creator where it helps with those English learning, those English language learners, where it can translate the text, also the text to speech. So that's especially helpful for our younger learners, like my kindergarten friends who are still learning how to spell. When they want to add images to support their story, or when they're wanting to write their story, they can speak their story and it types it for them. So it definitely works for a variety of learners and abilities, and I absolutely love that. Some of the challenges is definitely obviously making sure that students have access to the technology they need, which, like I said, it is compatible with tablets, iPads, computers, laptops, whatever you do have, but just making sure that students can navigate the site. So that can be a little bit difficult for our younger students. So just making sure that that is being taught. And then when they make updates, of course, there's just the learning curves there where some things sometimes look differently over time. So just making sure that you are modeling that to students, sharing that with students, and keeping them up to date. Okay, so some strengths of book creator in the classroom, and I know we've already touched on so many of these, but is that collaboration and action as students are working together. They're fostering creativity through the engaging digital storytelling, and then they're just building that support amongst each other. So some interactive features in Book Creator. Again, I know we've talked a lot about this, but integrating those text, images, audio, and video seamlessly, it really makes those stories come to life, and it allows students to get excited and to show creativity so much more than just your previous writing a paragraph, or in older grades writing a book report. I mean, it's just so much more engaging, so much more creative using those interactive multimedia elements in addition to writing their story. It encourages that teamwork, especially through the co-creation of digital works, and then supports the diverse learning styles. So many great things with those interactive features in Book Creator. Again, this just goes over some of those collaborative features that we've already talked about, how that enhances the creativity, the teamwork, communication skills, just all of those great things that are just going to help them as they continue to get older. So some implementation essentials for Book Creator. Obviously, there's teacher facilitation. The device access is very important. Students need to be able to access the program. Teachers need to be familiar with what they are teaching. They need to be familiar with the tools, how to use them. They need to attend some trainings or either look at some of those online trainings that is available through their website and just continue to get that continuous support to help build them up and allow them to teach this confidently and for students to be able to learn it and use it to the maximum potential. So let's talk about some student success stories because wow, have we had so many success stories through using Book Creator. Students get so excited when I tell them, hey, we're going to use Book Creator today. So, and one of the first ways that I chose to use Book Creator when I first learned about it from that Georgia EdTech conference was by creating an interactive book on local history figures. And the goal when I did that was to move beyond a traditional biography report, beyond, okay, write me, a few paragraphs on this particular historical figure. And instead, what we did is we followed three main steps. First, students brainstormed their subject and their sources using a non-digital method. So we had just your typical graphic organizer. They chose which historical figure they wanted to write on, and then how were they going to get the information that they needed. Many of them used nonfiction books that we had available in the library. Some of them even used some newspapers, just all kinds of different things like that. And then they imported their research outlines into Book Creator, creating one page per chapter. And then their third step was publishing their final book to our class library for peer review. And this is where they were able to learn about other historical figures and give each other feedback. So this related to learning by moving beyond just the simple comprehension and recall to creative application, and they had to really think about what did they want to teach other people about, who did they want to write on, get the historical data. They were able to import pictures of their historical figure. Some of them even pulled videos from YouTube on their historical figure. They were able to include videos of them doing skits or talking about their historical figure. Some of them embedded audio where they actually read the story aloud. So all of that had them using those higher order thinking skills. So it was a huge success. They had a lot of fun with it. They were so creative, and then they really loved publishing their books to the class library, reading each other's, sharing that feedback, and then because it was a part of their library, they were able to keep that. And then as they continued to create more books in Book Creator, they could see how their writing had improved over the course of the year, how their creativity, how they learned the tool and were able to use more things. So it was just such a cool thing. So many successes have been seen through students using Book Creator. So Book Creator honestly is just a dream for universal design for learning compliance. It addresses multiple means of representation by allowing students to consume content via the text, the images, the built-in read to me function. It's amazing. I cannot say enough wonderful things about Book Creator. Also, it hits that multiple means of action and expression perfectly because students can type, they can draw, they can record their voice, they can upload videos to express their understanding, and that was a huge win for a differentiated assessment. And then the freedom just to choose their subject and the collaborative nature that's fostered within Book Creator just nails the head on the multiple means of engagement. Motivation was visibly very, very high. So all of those things just go to support that UDL. Now, as far as who can Book Creator benefit, honestly, I say everybody. I would highly recommend this tool for elementary and middle school teachers across all content areas. It's not just for ELE. Honestly, if you want to see what your students know about something, use Book Creator. It's such an engaging way for them to show off what they know. So I think it could benefit everybody, but especially elementary and middle school teachers. The things that you do have to consider is probably want to be a one-to-one school or device program because all of the students that are using it are going to have access to either a Chromebook or an iPad or something of that nature. And then just the budget for the school-wide premium license, that might be a consideration. You can do the free program, but you do have some limitations with that free program. So that may be something that your school district wants to explore. And then you do want to have a reliable wireless internet connection, especially with those multimedia file transfers. But that is something that most schools do have, but just something that you might want to take in consideration. And if a school were to adopt a book creator professional development opportunity, you just want to make sure that you're focusing on that technical mastery and try to have someone that can talk to you more about the beyond the basic use, but how to like troubleshoot some of the common student errors, like fixing your audio sync issues or maybe resolving some library access problems, just some things like that. Um, but yeah, I appreciate you joining me today on my new tech tool journey. The experience confirms the value of multimodal learning, and I look forward to discussing Book Creator further and answering any questions you may have. But I love Book Creator. I hope that you will too if you choose to use it in your school system. I just think it can bring great things for students and teachers. So thanks again for watching.